Morning, everyone. Today, the House will consider our plan for renewing the Violence Against Women Act. This law is a critical tool for preventing domestic violence, sexual assault, and supporting the victims of these crimes. Our members have done a marvelous job of listening and putting this together, and our lead sponsor of this is the gentlelady from Florida, Sandy Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to say that this is a victim-centered bill. As we look to reauthorize VAWA, we want to make sure that we're not politicizing this issue, but just reauthorizing it. If you look at the bill and what it is in it, you will see that it is centered around our victims. The services for our victims, making sure that the funding is there and going to the victims and victim services. You have a backlog of rape kits that need to be completed. We put a lot more funding towards getting that backlog brought up to speed. We also are making sure that the Washington bureaucrats are limited in how much they can spend and that most of the money goes to the victims and victim services. So with that, I will yield to
On behalf of my mom and my daughter and millions of women all across this country, I'm proud to stand here today in support of the 2012 reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act. You know, each year there's an estimated over 200,000 cases of sexual assault. 1 out of 6 women on average is raped. And the numbers are really startling. But it's also important to recognize that after 20 years, nearly 20 years that this law has been in place, the numbers have come down dramatically. And that's the right direction. And the law, the proposed legislation that we're introducing today is actually going to improve this program. It's going to almost double the number of date rape kits. It's going to put more money into the prevention and the education as well as support of the transition and the safe houses for those that need them. This is a program that enjoys broad bipartisan support, Republican, Democrat, liberal, and conservative, and it is time that we move forward and get it reauthorized for everyone, all the victims that have unfortunately suffered and need to have the support moving forward.
I want to say thank you to Sandy Adams for the excellent leadership and the perspective that she has brought to the work that we have done in reauthorizing VAWA. As you all know, this came onto the books in '94, and the reason Republicans took the lead on VAWA in '94 is because we knew the need in our local communities for this. Sandy is a law enforcement officer who brought her expertise of dealing with violence against women to help us as we work through this reauthorization. Many of the women in our conference have worked with establishing our domestic abuse centers and have worked with our child advocacy centers, and we know firsthand the importance of having a workable law. I was visiting with one of my child advocacy centers on Monday, and we were discussing this issue. And I was reminded that in my home state of Tennessee, over half of all the crimes against individuals are domestic violence crimes. It is imperative that we continue the education and the law enforcement efforts on this issue, and I am grateful to Ms. Adams for her expertise that has been brought to bear on this issue.
Well, I'm excited to support this piece of legislation today for many different reasons. In South Dakota, we have 9 Native American tribes, and I wanted to speak specifically to some of the provisions that are in the Violence Against Women Act that is going to help bring their perpetrators to justice. There is a large amount of women who are abused and attacked on tribal grounds every single year, and it's critically important that we give them the keys that they need to bring their perpetrators to justice. This provision will also allow these women individually or through their tribal governments to do so, and I think at the end of the day we can all call that a success.